How are y'all, and welcome back to another episode of KCG Plays. My name is Kevin, and today we are continuing to play Floor 9 Look Be a Landlord. And we're not doing great at the moment. The win-loss for those who are following is 7 wins to 8 losses. So we're below 50% for the first time in this new update. And looking back over my previous few runs, I think I'm focused too much on kind of short-term goals like picking up divers and Pear and a lot of symbols like that which don't scale enough late term. I think I need to focus more on increasing the average value of my deck so that once we get to the late game it doesn't fall off. I find at the moment I tend to fall off a lot around 300, 375 rent payment. So on today's run, that's what we're going to focus on, taking the long-term best pick rather than short-term gains. So let's jump right in and see how that plays out. Hopefully this will lead to a reversal of our fortune. Let's take a key. I think is the best of these. It enables a few decent items, and let's take a seed. There's a few decent ones that we could get. Let's an early cultist. I think we have to try it. That has one of the best late game scalings. We could take a second key. The problem with monkeys is that in the end, unless you have the item that improves them, you're just left with a one kind symbol, which really hampers your deck a lot. Okay, let's a very early lucky capsule. That's fantastic. And we could do adoption paper, or we could go lucky cat. Adoption papers are okay, they're not fantastic. Not really, I'm looking for them. I think lucky cat is probably the best. Stacking luck is the greatest thing we could do. Let's take the chef because it is worth 2 and it will help with the cherry and the banana, so it's not too bad. I think an early coal is worth it. These have great long-term scaling. A second cultist is fantastic. That'll make these start paying off and we should have no problem making the next rent. I don't particularly want any of these, so let's skip. We don't want to fill up our deck too much with symbols that won't scale late game. Okay, these will give 6 each, so this would give 18 plus 3, 20. Let's take bar soap to fill up our empties. Then we don't need to worry too much about having to take symbols. We could take compost heap. We do have a chef. The problem with it is it will kind of fill up our deck a lot, I think. But maybe if we don't take a lot of items that destroy things, could be a thing. Let's give it a go. I haven't taken compost heap in a while, so let's give it a chance. Do we want a monkey? Not particularly. Do we want a buffing capsule? It would help with compost heap. Or does buffing capsule not trigger compost heap? No. Apparently it doesn't. Or okay, we have a peach already. Geologist is fantastic, but it's going to be a problem with compost heap. So there might be a bit of an anti-synergy. This might not be great. Let's take a cultist though. These will now give 3. Even if the geologist doesn't destroy anything else, it's still a symbol that gives 3, so it's still kind of worth it. Mrs. Fruit would obviously be one of the best symbols we could add at the moment. Let's skip this. Okay, we're getting about 25 per turn, so not too bad. We made the 100 rent payment with 37 left over. 115 now due in 6 spins. And we could take a coconut half. It is just worth 2. But let's take a Matryoshka doll. This will end up giving us 4, so it's a pretty good symbol late game. Capsule machine is great. So that's just an instant pick. Let's take item capsule. We got checkered flag and lockpick. Okay, that's decent. This will now give us 5 every 3 spins, but I don't think it's good enough and I don't think we need it, so let's skip. Okay, 44 on that spin. Let's take a chemical 7. Yeah, we're starting to fill up a bit. That's fantastic, though the chemical 7 got hit by the chef. We don't need another seed, but I wouldn't mind taking a lockbox. I hit the key, which is what we want. And another cultist is great. And now we're really looking for Mrs. Fruit. We made the 150 rent payment though, 95 left over, 225 now due in 7 spins. We definitely don't want hexatedium because it'll make the symbols that we get from compost, well, I suppose they'll still be at least uncommon, so it's not too bad. Let's take a hustling capsule though, and let's take, do we want anything from here? Elder creature obviously, but other than that I don't think we want anything from adoption papers. Slots will be okay. Pizza the cat would improve our cats, so let's take Pizza the cat. Happy hour would also be okay, but not great. Okay, we could take a slot, but we do have a lot of symbols already, so let's skip it. And we're only going to get more with compost heap, so we don't want to take too many. Item capsule though I think is worth it because it'll give us 2 items. Let's remove this other key. Okay, and let's skip this one. Don't want any of these. Getting about 41 per turn. We don't need any more seeds, we don't need a coconut, and I don't think we want a 3-sided dice. There comes our diamond. That'll definitely help pop up the amount we get, 46 per turn, which at this stage of the game is fantastic. Let's take one more cat. It is worth 2, so it's okay, and we have Lucky the cat. I think I skipped a cat earlier, but probably shouldn't have. We could take a coal. It'll put us over 20 symbols, which isn't fantastic, but it's still pretty decent, and it'll give us some late game scaling. We made the 225 rent payment with 148 left over, which is pretty good. 300 now due in 7 spins. I will want to keep my reroll capsules until we get a rare, kind of like a guaranteed rare. So let's take a bronze arrow. That can be pretty decent. And we don't have anything here, so we could take a treasure chest. It's not fantastic, but could also take Mori the rabbit. I wouldn't mind taking rabbit fluffs actually, they'd be worth 3. If I can just fill my board up with trees, we'll probably win. I don't want another cat though. Okay, that's pretty decent. How are we doing so far? I don't want any of these. I think we'll be skipping a lot from now on. 50 per turn, we're doing okay. Tedium capsule is pretty good because we may get another cultist out of it. Okay, we don't want any of these. Did my tedium capsule break? No, it didn't. Let's skip this. And about 43 per turn, so we need... So now I just hope that my tedium capsule and my lucky capsule don't both roll in on the same turn, but of course they did. It'll be interesting now to see actually what. So I guaranteed, it looks like the tedium capsule takes precedence and then the lucky capsule is just the last one. Do I want a dame? We only have 1 diamond. Let's re-roll and see what else we get. We'll get a sun. We only have 1 flower, but a sun is worth 3, so let's take it. And let's remove what's our worst symbol at the moment. Probably this kine. Doesn't have any synergies. At least the chef synergizes with a few things. And we made the 300 rent payment with 147 left over, so we're doing pretty good. 385 now due in 8 spins. Another chef could be great. Let's take him. Kine on a string. We've already removed the kine, so we could take fish tank, I think. Probably the best. Okay, let's take another item capsule. Yellow pepper and lime pepper. Okay, we're doing pretty decent. We didn't take kine on a string, so let's skip this. We're getting a lot of coconuts. We definitely could do with a Mrs. Fruit. We could take, I think Vitestone is probably the best. Although I did forget that it would trigger as a destroy. Let's skip this. We're doing pretty good though. We should get the rent. We have a lot of peaches, which are pretty good with the 2 chefs. Strawberry, it's worth 3. We have 2 chefs. I think that's a pretty good pickup. Fruit basket. I think if we got fruit basket, this would be an instant win. Beastmaster is not something we want. Hex's destruction will be interesting because there's nothing particularly we want to keep, but I think it'd be just a bit too random. Okay, the sun rolled in with the flower, so we're getting about 50 to 60 at the moment, which isn't quite enough for late game, but there's a few things that could definitely help us. Another farmer, a Another chef, Mrs. Fruit. There's a lot of items that could really, a lot of symbols that could really take this fruit basket. But we did make the, what was that, 375 rent payment with 159 left over. 450 now due in 8 spins. Magic key is pretty good. It's worth 2. I think we are guaranteed rares here, so let's re-roll and let's hope to get I think Robin Hood is really good. It's worth like 3 on average. And we don't have any thieves. Tax evasion is really good with Robin Hood, but this would just fill up our deck with rares. So we'd be guaranteed apples. Yeah, we'd be guaranteed at least treefers, which with the 2 chefs should be really good. Okay, I don't particularly want an emerald. I don't think it is worth 3, but we don't have any synergies with it. So let's skip. And we should get loads of symbols that are worth 3 or better. I think the worst item in my deck is probably one of these coconuts, I think, or cherry. Yeah, let's take out the cherry. Oh, the chef doesn't work with a coconut. Oh, it does work with coconut halves though. We got 69 that turn. If we can keep making 69, we'll be happy. Okay, chef work for peaches to give us 8 for the peaches. I don't particularly want a tedium capsule. Well, I guess I'll take a tedium capsule because it'll give us more rare fruit. I don't want the coconut half. Let's take a... So rare fruit is apple. Yeah, so the chef works with all the rare fruit, which is great. So we want more of them. Okay, we got 58 on that spin. We don't want any more coconuts. Let's skip. And we have a pear. That's fantastic. A pear with 2 chefs and an arrow should definitely help us. Let's take a hustling capsule because with capsule machine, it's great. It's worth 2 pool balls and it also gives us a rare fruit. Our pear is just growing away, worth 16 that turn. So at this stage, the only thing we really want is things which help our synergies. A rare apple is pretty good. And out of these, a cardboard box is fantastic actually. Every 6 spins, we can remove a bad item. Or a bad symbol, I mean. 126 that time. Let's skip this. Oh, Robin Hood removes apples. I'd forgotten that completely. Hustling capsule again is fantastic. Gives us 2 pool balls and it kind of triggers compost heap. I don't want a ninja. I don't want a heart. I don't want any of these. Or might be okay with geologist, but I don't. I think the geologist is just there as a symbol that's worth 3 rather than a symbol we're kind of working our way around. Robin Hood does remove the target, but it is only worth 2, so I think we skip it. Okay, 575 due in 4 spins. That shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. And we now have our second diamond. That'll definitely help. Let's skip all these. At this stage, we want to start removing our coconuts so that our higher value symbols come in more often. This is brilliant. A chef and an arrow pointing at this pear. And I think this pear will probably be kind of what we kind of carries the run late game. Okay, 75. If we can keep at this level, we're doing well. 83, that's brilliant. We made the 575 rent payment with 209 left over. 650 now due in 9 spins. We could take a diver. Would it help clear anything from the deck? It actually wouldn't, so let's not take the diver. Let's re-roll and hope for something better. Golden egg does work with chefs, so let's take the golden egg. And let's take guillotine, I guess. It opens up the possibility of taking billionaires. Again, let's remove these coconuts. Okay, 77, and at this stage we're getting above 77 per spin on average, so we basically won the game. 105, don't need to get anything more. Even a bronze arrow I don't think is worth it. And let's say a lucky capsule though, pretty much is. Wildcard would also have been pretty good. Let's remove that coconut. 81 altogether. Don't particularly want a peach. It's just not good enough. It's only worth 2. Again, I don't want a peach. Do we still have our... We do have our lucky capsule. We're up to 27 symbols, which is a lot. Okay, let's skip all these. 62. Let's skip everything. This stage we'll probably be skipping everything until the end of the run. 73. Okay, we're doing pretty good. I want to remove this banana as well, actually. And we made the 650 rent payment with 259 left over. 700 now due in 10 spins. Silver arrow is good, and tax evasion is good with the Robin Hood. That's pretty much it. Let's take small symbol bomb. We probably won't end up picking anything from it. Well, we'll end up picking wealthy capsule and lucky capsule, actually. Okay, that went pretty well. Let's remove our coconuts are gone, so let's remove our banana as the next worst symbol. Okay, 100 on that spin, that's not a problem. These are guaranteed rares, but I don't think a dame is even worth it. Let's skip. Okay, and skip all these. We could get a treasure map, I guess. Let's skip. We don't need the treasure map, so there's no need to use it. Okay, and let's take... oh, we could take a billionaire, it just removes itself straight away. And we get an apple. That's actually really good. It's worth 3, and Robin Hood does remove it, so can't go wrong. Let's take another lucky capsule. Okay, and let's skip. We could do it some removal capsules, actually. Okay, now what the worst symbol is probably this flower, just because the chefs don't affect it. Or maybe cats. No, I think it's the flower. And there goes our apple. A second Robin Hood with... So with checkered flag and... Did I not take tax evasion? No? Okay. With checkered flag, Robin Hood is worth 10... It's about 6 per turn, which is really good. And it also buffs the arrows we have. It eats the apples. It's just great. We don't want a slot. A slot is only worth 3, which isn't quite good enough. We have loads of trees on the board. We have a second pair. That's brilliant. Let's take a... Do we want another pair? I guess so. It just has to be buffed twice in order to be really good. Only 51 that spin, but we did make the 700 rent payment with 409 left over. 777 now due in 10 spins. Won't be a problem whatsoever. We could take General Zarf and clear off, say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 symbols. That'd bring us down to 20 plus whatever was generated by the by this yoke. What am I thinking? Compost heap? But I don't think so. So let's re-roll. I don't want an amorous. There's nothing to buff it except the arrows, which aren't quite good enough. Don't want a tomb. Don't particularly want a diver because there's nothing to remove. So let's just skip. At this stage, let's take white pepper. The other two are completely useless to us. And at this stage, the worst symbol is probably the geologists, actually, or the cats. Probably the cats. They only give 2, nothing buffs them, and we don't need the increase in rarity. So let's remove the cats. And do we want a thief? No, we don't. Let's take a reroll capsule. Okay, we're making 72. Let's take a buffing capsule. It's fantastic. Let's remove the other cat. Okay, 114. Let's skip this. Another pair. That's brilliant. Now that they've been changed to rares, frozen fossil is not something we want. It's really good, but not something we want. Let's re-roll for something better. Didn't get anything. Okay. At this stage, with the amount of pairs we have no problem. This will probably go pretty well in endless, actually. Okay, 108. Let's skip this. And let's take, no, let's skip. I was going to take another seed for maybe more pears, but there's no real need. 78. Okay, let's skip this as well. $222, not so bad. Let's remove, what is the worst symbol? Probably the geologist, is it at this stage? I think so, yeah. Let's remove him. And we made the 777 rent payment. Actually, now I come to think about it, the Eldritch creature would have been quite handy because it would have taken out our cultists. But, I mean, it wasn't needed, but for endless, actually it might be handy. What I'm going to do is I think I'm going to keep on playing this game in endless mode. And I'm going to try and get a full board of pears and just pears and farmer and maybe chefs and arrows. And I'll kind of splice that into the end of this run. Let's see how far I get. So I'll kind of splice in the last few runs, I think, or the last few spins, if anyone's interested. There's going to be a lot of grinding, so I'm going to cut that stuff out. I hope you guys enjoyed the run. If you did, just in case something goes wrong and I don't manage to put in the next bit, I'm going to say give us a like and subscribe here and comment down below and let me talk. And hopefully in a few seconds I'll be back with a full board of pears and it'll be a great spin. But if not, guys, until next time, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves and cheers for now.